Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Code with Abby. In this video, we are going to learn one of the most useful features in SQL Server, that is CTE. CTE stands for Common Table Expression. We will start with the basics like what is a CTE, why do we even need it? Then we will look at how CTE can make our queries cleaner, especially when used instead of subqueries. We will also cover how to use CTE with joins, the rule that CTE must be used right after it's written, how to use multiple CTEs together, also called chained CTE, and yes, we will also explore the amazing concept of recursive CTEs with real-life example. So whether you are a beginner or preparing for interviews, this video will give you a clear and practical understanding of CTEs. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really motivates us to bring more useful content for you. Let's get started. Before we go and understand the definition of CTE, let's go and create a table. This table is going to be foundation for all CTEs demos today. We are going to create a table called TVL employees, which has a couple of fields: employee ID, employee name, DOB, email, department, and salary. And then we are going to insert a couple of records to this. Let's go, select this script and hit this execute button. Table gets created. And then let's go and insert these records to this table. Records have been inserted. We can verify if records have been inserted or not. We can see all these records. There are 10 records: Sumit Kumar, DOB, email ID, sales department, and salary. This is the simplest example wherein we are writing a simple select statement to retrieve data from TVL employees. We're going to write it in a different way. So what I'm going to write is write a simplest CTE here, a simplest common table expression. To start with, we will start with a keyword called with, WITH, and then we will give it the CTE name and as, and whatever that is the select statement or whatever statement that we want to write inside the body of this. So whatever, if I'm selecting this and executing this, this is basically, you see that this brings all the records of IT department employees. And what we are going to do is that we can actually create this whole row set as a name called IT employees. And then instead of writing this whole select query, we are selecting it from IT employee name. So what will it do? It will create a temporary table type structure here, and the outcome or the data row set of this is represented by this name, which is a CTE name. And then we can use this name as the data source. Let's go and select this whole thing, and we are getting the same result here. Let's define what CTE is. The CTE stands for Common Table Expression. It is a temporary result set that we can use like a table within a single query. So we have seen in the last query wherein we could write to retrieve the details of all employees belonging to IT department, and we gave a name, and that name we could use further. So it was working as a temporary result set for us. This helps make complex query easier to read. So what you can do, you can write a complex query, encapsulate it, and you can give a name, and that name can be used further. A CTE must be used immediately after it is defined. So whenever you are creating a CTE, it has to be used immediately after you define it. And in a select statement or insert a statement, update or delete a statement, it can be used just after defining it. Let's go and try to understand why do we need CTE. There are some certain points that we wanted to discuss. It improves readability. So if you write CTE and giving complex logic within this, complex statements inside it, and you can give a name, so it improves the readability. It avoids repetition. So you are really not required to write same set of rows of queries for multiple times. So after the CTE gets created, you can consume it as quick as possible, and then you can avoid repetition in that. Organizes query logic, and then we have simplifies nested queries. So if you have a nested queries, it can simplify that. It supports recursion also, which is otherwise very difficult to achieve, and we can achieve recursion in CTE easily. It is temporary and lightweight. It doesn't require physical space to store, so it is lightweight, works as a named result set. We have already seen that we had given a name and viewer use it, and it can be chained, means there is one CTE, another CTE, another CTE, and all can be chained together, and finally you can use it. So better than views or one-time use. If you are trying to use something one time, it is always better than views, because views then has to have a database object, and it has to have a space there in database, so that CTE doesn't require CTE instead of subqueries. Let's go and try to understand. We can write CTE instead of subquery, and how can we achieve that? So I'm back in SQL Server Management Studio, and here let's go and try to see. I have written one subquery wherein I am selecting all, and here is the subquery. This subquery has been written in from statement. So if you see our subqueries video, I can give the link in I button or in description, which you can see. Subqueries can be written in select statement as well of any any query. So this is the idea, is that this is going to, the result set of this is stored in salary department wise, and what we are going to select all from this row set, this record set, wherein if salary sum department wise is greater than 5,000. If you are going to select this, it displays us all the departments which are having sum of the department salary is more than 5,000. The same thing that we can achieve through CTE. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a CTE starting with a statement with keyword. This is the name of the CTE department salary as select a department sum of the salary as salary department wise. So we are giving the name of this field as salary department wise, and we are grouping it by department. So this is the simplest query, and if you execute this query, you can have this all salary sum of salary against every department. So admin has got sum of salary 60, finance has got sum of salary 65, IT has got sum of salaries 3,30,000, and like this, right? So what we are going to do, this becomes a record set for us, and we can use this CTE department salary just below this CTE. So what we are going to use it, select department, which is this one, salary department voice, which is this one, from CTE department salary. And you see, if I'm selecting this all and going to use it, I can see all those details here. Make sense? CTE can also be written along with joins. So let's go and try to see how can we write CTE with join. And to show you if CTE can be used with join, we are going to create one more table here. The table is TVL department master. Since it is a master table, it contains master data, department ID, and department name. And then we are going to store a couple of records to this. And then we will create one more table called TVL employees, which has got department ID. So this department ID, not the name. And what we will try to achieve is we will join these two tables to get the name as well. Make sense? So let's go and create this table. The first table gets created, and let's go and insert a couple of records to this table. The records have been inserted, and then let's go to create this table as well. Second table also has been created, and let's go to insert the records to this table as well. Now we have two tables, and these two tables have got all the details. Select star from department master. So let me grab the name of this from here, TBL department master, and select all from, and TVL employees. So right here, and then let's select and see that all. So this is department number 1 is IT. So this Rajkumar works for IT department, works in IT department, right? Likewise. So we have the data. Now what we are going to do is join in CTE. So we are going to use join within CTE body. So with employee with a department. This is with keyword, which is for CTE, and this is the CTE name as select employee ID, employee name, department name from. So we are joining it, and so we are getting record data from both the tables. Employee ID is from first table, employee name is from first table, employee table, but department name we are getting from department table, and we are joining on department ID. And then we are selecting from employee with department. So this demo demonstrates that we can write join within CTE. Okay. So this way it shows us employee 101 Rajat Kumar belongs to IT department, 102 Neha Sharma belongs to HR department, and likewise all the employees belonging to the respective departments. Make sense? In this example, we are going to learn how to join a CTE with others, and we will probably going to achieve the same thing. So this is employees, which selects all from employees, and here instead of this from TBL employees, we are going to use the CTE, employee CTE, and in this employee CTE we are going to join with department table. Make sense? And we are going to achieve the same. So this way we have learned that we can use join within CTE, or we can join one CTE with other select queries. CTE must be used immediately. That is very important. If you are writing a CTE, you can see this in a snapshot. This CTE, AMP CTE, select all from TBL employees. And if by chance you are using select hello, and then you are trying to utilize this CTE, it will fail. Let's go and see this in action. So I am here in SQL Server Management Studio, and we are going to create a CTE. And if I by chance I am not writing this hello, and I'm going to use this CTE, and it shows me all the data of employees here. But just by chance I am opening this, so I'm not utilizing this CTE immediately after its creation, and hence it should fail. What it says, common table expression defined but not used. So if just please note that you cannot write any other statement in between the creation or definition of CTE and its use. It has to be used immediately after the creation. Next is the chain CTE. We can write CTE, one CTE, another CTE, another CTE, and we can chain it. So let's go and try to see this. How can we achieve? So here is the example wherein we have two CTEs created, EMP CTE, select all from employees, and department CTE as select all from employee, D department and all. And what you see here is this, in department CTE, we are using EMP CTE. So you can see, and we are inner joining to this EMP CTE. And this way, if you are going to create another CTE here, so you can chain it. You can actually chain it. So this way, you can actually create chain of CTE, right? So let's go and try to run it. And then here we are getting the records. Next is recursive CTE. So we know the recursion. So recursion is that if you are creating, if you are having a programming language background, so you can write a method which call itself. So it call itself. There are some scenarios wherein what happens if you want to let's say there is a tree, or there is something called hierarchical, very hierarchical nature. So you have to go one parent has got one child, that has got another child, that has got another child, and you want to traverse this way. So there is a kind of data for which you really need recursive things to be done. And this way, CTE provides us recursion feature wherein we can do recursion. Okay, so let's go and try to see how can we do recursion in recursive CTE. Let's try to understand how CTE works as a recursive CTE and how do we achieve recursion using CTE in SQL Server. For this, let's go to create a data structure. We have a table called TBL employees, which has got a couple of fields, employee ID, employee name, and manager ID. With this definition, you try to understand that this is a table which contains each employee details with their respective manager. Okay. And then we are inserting a couple of records to this. Let's go and create this table selected and created. Table has been created, and now let's go to insert some records to this. Records have been inserted. Make sense? Now, if we are going to see the data of this table, let's try to understand. So select all from TBL employees, and let's see the data. So here is the data. We see that if there is employee ID and the name of the employee, and then the manager ID of for that employee. So here we see that Neha Sharma doesn't have any manager. But if I see Sumit Kumar, so Sumit Kumar is having a manager, and the manager is one, that is Neha Sharma. So we wanted to achieve a sequence wherein within this table only we need to recursively iterate through, and then we need to find that this is an employee and whose manager is this one, correct? And who is the manager for this particular employee? So that is what the problem statement. And since we need to work on hierarchy on this specific table, we need to achieve it through recursive CTE. Now let's try to understand how do we achieve recursive CTE. So the recursive CTE has mainly two parts. Number one is the anchor member part, and the second is the recursive member part. The anchor member part is the first member, and then recursive member part wherein actually we write the recursive thing. And these two sections are joined with union all generally. So let's write that EMP hierarchy is the CTE, and anchor member wherein what we are going to retrieve, that select employee ID, employee name, manager ID. Then we are saying manager name. So manager name is the name of that manager. So in order to get that manager name, we need to iterate through. So here we are actually, once we are writing union all, everybody knows that we have to map the number of fields, number of columns that we are selecting from both the sides. So here we are also selecting employee name. So here we are actually matching this. And why we are casting it to varchar? Because this particular value is of varchar 100. Make sense? And where e.manager ID is nil. So this is a candidate section, and then this becomes union all. And here we are selecting e.employee ID, employee name, manager ID, and manager name from employee. And we are inner joining to the CTE itself. And here that's where we are achieving recursion here. Make sense? So this is the way that we write CTE, and then we are using the CTE right after its creation. Let's go and select this and execute this. So we see this Neha Sharma, no manager. Sumit Kumar has got one manager, and what's the name of manager? Neha Sharma, because she's having employee ID 1. Rajat Jaina is manager is 2, that is Sumit Kumar. So this way, since this is a kind of data wherein we have to iterate through the self table and we have to do on hierarchy, there are only two level of hierarchy, but if we have multiple, so we can achieve it through recursion. This is how we achieve recursion using CTE. I believe that the concept of CTE, which I explained today, is pretty much clear to you. We talked about CTE, where to use CTE, recursion in CTE, how to use joins in CTE, or how to join a CTE with other select statement, and many more. I hope that is really going to help you in a professional life. If you like this video, subscribe the channel and share with your friends so that they can also get benefited. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.